I went to therapy to understand why I was attracted to men who treated me like garbage, but it made me realize that I was the trash in my previous relationship, and it led to me throwing myself out of what could have been a happy marriage. I finally broke down and decided to go to therapy despite my ex, we'll get more into him later, heavily suggesting it over the course of my relationship. I wanted to know why I was attracted to men that mistreated me so much, but she dragged me down to earth with my most recent ex. She basically laid out what I did wrong, asked why I did what I did, and described my actions as abusive and how I should approach the same situation going forward. I met my ex through a friend. He was a couple of years older than me and he graduated in the early stages of our relationship. He was so caring, coming to stay with me in the library after work just to be with me, bringing me takeout during stressful study periods, and just being there. In retrospect, I treated him like garbage. After being with so many bad exes, we have a cheater, some guys who lied about wanting a relationship with me just to get smashing, etc. I kind of compartmentalized my feelings and would often box out the offending party. With the first couple of arguments, I would box out my ex for a couple of days to cool off, and he'd text a couple of times of me boxing him out to ask when I'd be ready to talk, and we would, and things would be fine. Editor's note: boxing out is a basketball term. It essentially means she shut him out, gave him the cold shoulder. I guess because he was so great, I unconsciously held him to a much higher standard. We were supposed to watch a movie together after my exam period, but he went with his friends instead. He offered to go again with me and wouldn't spoil it or give his opinions, so it would be like we were watching it the first time, and I boxed him out for 5 days. He would do his texting apologizing and I would lash out at him. I never took any accountability for my actions. It seemed like even the smallest thing that I perceived was wrong resulted in me boxing him out. It all came to a head when he said that my boxing him out was stressing him out and that if I was so unhappy, I was free to leave. He wasn't going to force me to change. I promised to change. For a time, things did change. I went on an internship, so the stress of studying and tests were gone, and we had the best year of our relationship. We communicated at even the smallest things, and he got even more romantic with me. Even the most trivial events, like simple grocery shopping, ended up being a great date, and I was truly happy. We'd even discussed getting married when my career was stable, and he got me a silver ring that was engraved with our initials and my graduation date for my left ring finger. He called it a placeholder for the real thing when the time was right. Then I went back to school. The last year of school was so bad. My lab partners were just mean or lazy. The instructors were brutal and I struggled with the material. My ex tried to help, but, as my therapist showed me, that I lash out more when stressed. He came over and did the dishes but forgot to wash the pans. I screamed at him and boxed him out for a week. I noticed a change because he only texted once during the boxing out period. In hindsight, I realized that he was preparing to leave. After the week was up, he brought up our previous discussion about me boxing him out. I was stressed and he didn't seem to care. My therapist said that he was likely beyond pissed, so I gave him lip service. At this point during our session, my therapist was blunt and told me, "You were very lucky he didn't leave you then and there." The straw that broke his back was my birthday. He'd been skimping and saving for the last 6 months or so, like we'd go to cheaper restaurants, and he dialed back his nights out with his friends, like swapping bar nights to take out and video games, but I didn't think he'd skimp on my birthday. He took me to a cheaper place, instead of our usual steakhouse visit, and his gift was bath bombs and a basket of my favorite snacks and chocolates. I was pissed and snapped at him that he could be frugal with himself or his friends, but I thought I was more important. Time flew by. I'd boxed him out for 2 weeks. He did not text once. When I called to ask him to come over and talk, all he said was, "I made the mistake of trying to change you. You should be with someone who will take you as you are." I'm done, and I fired back with, "Well, I won't wait for you to come back." Lo and behold, he, and all his friends and family, blocked me the minute the call ended. Luckily, the friend that introduced us did not block me, so we could stay friends. When I finished that part of the story, my therapist did not hold back. She told me that I need to work on my self-importance, be more reflective on my actions and how they impact other people, how to manage my disappointment better and communicate with him better, like ask why he was being so frugal. I've done that, and I came to a horrible realization that I was awful to him. My therapist made me write all the things he did for me in a list of how he wronged me and got boxed out, along with the length of boxing out. The wrong part of the list was longer than the good part, but the good part seemed to outweigh the bad. Then my therapist asked if I had ever considered that I was getting mad about the small things and using my ex as a whipping boy for my disappointment and frustration. At first I thought she didn't understand, and as I think more, it sinks in and I feel sick. I guess my ex got his revenge. I met with a friend that introduced us, we're quite close, and I cried and vented about what I told my therapist, and asked her if I appeared to be controlling and abusive. She was silent for a minute and said yes. He told us everything, and the others all dislike you for what you did. She was a little angry too and said, "Well, you know why he was being frugal? It was his ex showing a brand new iPhone, AirPod Pros, and a few video games with the caption was saving up for a ring, but guess I don't need that anymore. Dodged a bullet and got an iPhone out of the deal. It really did hurt. If I listened to him and sought out therapy sooner, maybe I would be engaged to that wonderful man. Apparently he was planning to do it at the convocation. I just don't know what to do now. I threw this all away. I asked my friend not to inform me of his life anymore. It just hurts to think that another girl will get to experience the happiness he brought me. I pissed away the lottery winnings because I didn't know how to control my temper. I deserve this. Edit. I want to thank everyone who commented and provided insight. Honestly, as I typed my responses, I realized how much my friend did for me. I should thank her for not leaving me at this trying time. I suspect that my ex deliberately did not give her the instructions to cut me out nor force her to choose between us. I don't have a lot of friends. Well, she's like my only friend left, and he probably didn't want me to be alone. I guess that was his one last act of kindness. I wish I could go back in time and cherish that man. Sadly, he's gone. Commenter 1. What was going through your head for that 2 weeks? Like, were you just pissed the entire time? Or missing him? Forgot about him? Oop. Pissed mostly. Kind of like a cocktail of him giving me a bad birthday gift, him not reaching out to try and fix things, school not going well and he's not there to support me, etc. Just things haven't been going well, and this fight gave me an easy villain to channel my anger to. Commenter 2. You only talk about what he did for you. When you say you threw this all away, what exactly did he miss out on? I'm saying this in an effort to help you frame how you recall the relationship and think about what you bring to the table as a partner in the future other than being the recipient of gifts and gestures. Oop. We really haven't gotten to that session yet. So far we focused on how my actions impacted him and how I was lucky he was so patient, and what I can do to avoid doing this in the future. Update. Since there was so much support, I guess I owe you all an update. I reached out to my friend to grab dinner and chat so I could thank her for her support. We had a nice chat and she said what you guys said, she was happy that I was getting help. I read a lot of your responses and quite a few of you emphasized with my ex. Honestly, I never really thought about what he went through during my boxing out. I just knew it triggered his anxiety and he didn't like it. So I did a stupid thing and decided to ask her. First, I asked how he was doing. She asked if I really wanted to know. I did. You all said that being boxed out for periods of time caused trauma. I just wanted to see if he was okay. She just showed me a group photo of them. I couldn't recognize him at all. He lost so much weight and looked fit. We were overweight while dating, but he shed his cheek fat and more tight-fitting clothes. Apparently, during the last box out, the guys got him a gym membership and he really dove in after leaving me and has been religiously going since. I decided to ask about what I did to him. I told my friend that my therapist wants me to understand how my actions, in this case, my boxing out, affected him. What I heard made me feel even worse. Apparently, he started getting more apologetic over the smallest things. One example she gave was that he brought less food to a potluck than the others and started apologizing over and over. Then he started binge drinking sporadically. He told his friends that it was to cope with work stress, but I really know, and they all know now, that we had been fighting. One night of binge drinking, one of the other guys was commenting how he had a minor squabble with his girlfriend over not liking the notebook, and that set my ex off. He had a full-on mental breakdown and basically spilled out everything I had done to him at this point. That's when they turned on me. When I boxed him out, they would let him text me once and basically try to distract him while taking his phone away until he stopped trying to panic apologize. Then they started to tell him that he was being abused and to leave me. That was before the second time he asked me to change. They wanted him to leave me then, but he insisted that I would change. Then the final time he agreed with them and gave them explicit instructions to block my number and delete my contact info when he gave the signal. However, he told my friend that she was free to do whatever she wanted. He said he wasn't going to kill a friendship over his problems. Then he left and then the wall of silence came up. I wish I'd never asked. I wish I thought about what he was going through. I had my head so far up my butt that I thought I was right and self-absorbed in my world where he was wrong and I was right, and he deserved that punishment. Anyways, I'm signing off now. I won't be using this account again. Thank you for all of your support in making me see the hard things. I'll continue with my therapy and hopefully find someone who treats me as well as my ex did.